What's going on, everyone from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dan Podolsky, and I'm joined here with UFC welterweight Jason Witt. He is set to return to the octagon on August 6th when he takes on Josh Quinlan. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me on.
And just first off, how did this fight come together and how's training been going?
I got a great management team in Iridium. Joe Wooster and all them always put on some. They always take care of me very well. Man, I bug Joe Wooster every day for a fight. I will literally go to his office and be like, "Hey, man, you got anything? Nope. You got anything? Nope. You got anything? Nope." And just one day he's like, I think Krause texted me. He's like, "Hey, man, here's a fight. Do you want?" I was like, "Yep, I'll take it." And it was about 8 weeks ago. So I mean, it wasn't the longest camp I've ever been in, but it gives me a little bit of time to prepare, and training's going good. I'm peaking at the right time. Body feels good. Weight's coming down. So I really feel good about where I'm at.
Have you gone to watch any of Josh Quinlan's previous fights? He only has 5 professional fights, so it's not like he's, a seasoned veteran.
Right. I've watched a couple of his fights. I watched a fight of his with Dallas Jennings, who's actually in our gym right now. So I've picked Dallas's brain a couple of times, just kind of how the fight goes, how does he feel. This is before. I think right now he won't be on steroids, so Dallas probably fought him on steroids. That might be a little bit different, but other than that, it's no big deal. Hey, if he could do steroids, I'll let him. I'll still beat his ass if he's on steroids. I don't care.
I was gonna say, does that kind of change your mindset a little bit, because this guy's 5-0, he's on the Contender Series, but to a certain degree, we don't know. A, he's very green, only has 5 fights, and B, won his contract while on steroids. So does that kind of change how you view him?
Not at all, man. Like if I got the mindset of I'm gonna beat you regardless. If you take steroids and I still beat you, what are you gonna do then? You know what I mean? Like if you're on roids and you still lose a fight, then what's your excuse?
Fair enough. And so I think, looking at your fights, I think you're standout wrestler. I think the one thing people might question is your chin. You've been knocked out 3 times. What would you say to people who will look at your career so far and will say you can't take a shot?
They can all go fuck themselves and go watch the Barbarena fight. A lot of my chin is not my chin per se. It's more the hydration process after weighing in. Sometimes I've had medical issues of weight cuts that didn't go well. Like we talked about the institute and stuff like that of my stress levels are too high, and I've done some other tests about some other stuff that doesn't really need to be talked about. It's not my chin. It's more just the hydration process that comes back. You look at the Barbarena fight, I had a really good weight cut, I had a really good hydration process, and I took some fucking shots from him. So anybody says I have a weak chin, they can go fuck themselves and watch that fight over again.
That's what I'd say, because with the Barbarena fight, that proved that you have the talent to be up there. Just in some of the fights, I think you've gotten caught. And it puts you at 2-3 now in the UFC. Are you seeing this as sort of a fight you have to win if you want to, keep fighting in the UFC?
Yeah, of course, man. Every fight's your biggest fight. But yeah, I mean, of course, you have every fight you have to win. Like, I'm not looking there to go and lose. I'm just going there to perform my best. And if I put too much pressure on it, then it's not fun to me. It's not worth doing. So I'm just going in there, have fun, make a paycheck, and then move on to the next fight.
Mm-hmm. What do you think gives you the advantage over Josh Quinlan?
You got to say experience, man. You got to understand that 5 fights in the UFC or 5 fights professional. I just won my first title as a local scene. Man, 5 fights into it, I was not super experienced. And you look back at it, like, you only connect the dots from backwards. Like, you look at it, I thought maybe, I'm 5 fights in, I'm ready to join. Like, you're not. And he's 5-0. He's good in that aspect. But my experience levels of being 19-7, I've had more fights in the UFC than he's had total fights, period. So you got to understand that the experience level takes over after a certain aspect.
And I think it's interesting here because you're coming in at around a plus 170 underdog, but you talk about that experience. I think this is a good chance for, you and your buddies to make some money if they want to. Is that something you pay attention to at all? And you've been an underdog now in all 5, or I think all 6 of your UFC fights.
Yeah, that's fine. Fine with me. We'll make some cash money. Follow James Course's Discord. He has a lot of betting on there. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of my friends just making some who place a lot of bets, and I'm okay being an underdog. You know what I mean? Like I've had a couple losses. I've had a couple wins. So it's like and I've been underdogs for all of them. So it depends on who shows up that night in terms of who I am, and then that the betting favors. Like if you go back and look at the Barbarena fight, I was an underdog then. You go look at the second round, I wasn't an underdog after that. So you know what I mean. You can place underdog bets, you can place all that shit. It doesn't really matter when it comes down to the fight.
And talk to me about James Krause. How has training with him helped you throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a leader. He's the type of person that shows by example. He kind of paved the way in more terms of fighting. Like we're the same age. We kind of grew up close to the same era of fighting. But he's definitely the guy that shows you he's willing to do. He's not going to tell you to do something he's never done before. You know what I mean? He's willing to do whatever he has to do to win. He also helps out like financially. He also talks a lot about business and all that stuff too. So he's kind of an all around, just kind of a really good coach in terms of everything.
And so this will be your 6th fight in a row at the UFC Apex. Is that place starting to feel like home for you, or are you trying to get in front of fans again?
Man, I love it. I love fighting the Apex. It's cool. You know what I mean? I got my coaches right next to me. There's a couple of fights that I literally was 2 feet away from them, and I could hear every word they said. We had a good conversation about it. But I'd like to fight in front of some fans, you know what I mean? And just in terms for my friends, my family who would like to fly out or, drive out to go see a fight, they'd love to go see a live fight. I think that'd be a lot cooler, you know what I mean? I've talked about a couple of times just calling out Sean Shelby after the fight, like, hey, man, I'm an exciting fighter. Give me a fucking pay-per-view fight so my friends and family can come on and watch.
Do you think that the UFC, are you pushing for the UFC to come back to your hometown, Kansas City? Because I think they've done cards there before. I think they could definitely do another one in the future.
Yeah, they would pack the Sprint Center or T-Mobile, whatever it's called. I don't care. The Sprint Center, they would pack that all over again. I'd be stoked for that. That'd be fantastic. I would love it. If I could push for that. I don't think I have a big enough name to push for that one, you know what I mean? Like I'm no Paddy Pimblett or Conor McGregor getting stadiums and shit, but if I get it back to Kansas City, I'd be stoked about it.
Yeah, I think Kansas City could definitely headline a fight. And I think maybe James Krause, I know he's not an active fighter, but I think maybe if he wanted one last fight, could maybe be on that card. I think it'd be a good card. So for you, sorry, say that again.
That one's gonna cost some money. That one's Krause isn't in here to cut weight for pennies anymore. He's here to make some cash money. Be all about that fight.
Mm-hmm. Jason, I apologize. I think I lost you for a second. Can you hear me?
So no big deal.
Yeah, but in talking about your career path, so you're 35 at this point. Where do you see, like, what are your goals for the future and for the end of 2022?
Yeah, man, I'm a veteran in the sport. I'm getting old. You know what I mean? You can't fight forever. I got 3 more fights on my contract, including this one, and I'm not sure what's going to go after that. I'd love to fight. If I get a new contract, that'd be fantastic. If I don't, then that's just how life works. You know what I mean? I love fighting. It's part of who I am. It's part of what I'm doing. But it really depends on the next 2 fights. I'm just going to take this fight for what it is and win this fight and then go from there.
Talk to me about your nickname, the Vanilla Gorilla. Where'd you get that?
Yeah, man. That one came back from a while ago. It was my first professional fight. I was about a month out. Man, I cut to 55 one time, and it didn't go well. I mean, I made 55. I won the fight. It was all good, but my ass blew up to about 200 pounds. Like, I was jacked as all shit. I still had a six-pack and everything, but my body just wasn't working well, and I was huge. And my coach, Jason Witt, who I still train with this day, was like, man, you look like a vanilla gorilla. And I'm very athletic. I'm very strong and very kind of gorilla-like. And everybody in the class starts laughing, and it just kind of stuck. And I used it for my first professional fight, and it really just worked out well.
I love that. And you said you cut to 55?
Yeah, I've made 55 a couple times. I don't want to ever do that again. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again. I fought, even in my professional career, I fought 55, I fought 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. Like, I fought all those close. Like, they had a 65 weight class, I'd be perfect for it. But even that sounds terrible right now.
Would you ever cut to 55 again, or you staying at home at 170?
Depends on how much money you're paying me.
Fair enough.
If it's a contract right now, absolutely not. Not a gosh damn chance. Never going to happen.
Fair enough. And just think, my final question for this, what's your official prediction for this fight? August 6th, you're fighting Josh Quinlan. How does it go down?
Yeah, I really see me kind of grind him out the first 2 rounds and then put him away in the third. He's a tough kid, comes from a good shoebox camp from what I've heard of. They a lot of fighting style pretty much. But yeah, I really see just kind of my suffocating style, just grinding him out and then putting him away in the third.
Awesome. Guys, Jason Witt returns to the octagon on August 6th when he faces Josh Quinlan. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time and best of luck to you.
Of course, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.